And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session. It is March 28, 2026. My name is Daniel. And once again, today we will be on the lookout for the most interesting swing trading setups for the week and the weeks ahead. I am greeting you today once again from our beautiful office here in downtown Montreal. It's a cold day once again. Oh boy, this winter seems to be extremely long. Still in the minus 4 degrees when I left the house this morning. Crisp outside, but I saw on the Weather Channel temperatures expected to rise. Let's see if this is gonna happen here in Montreal. It's about time. I'm tired of this long winter. Nonetheless, let me ask you guys, where are you calling in from? Is perhaps your weather conditions a bit nicer than here? Please put your location and into the chat box, into the Q&A box, I should say. Who do we have? We have Robert from Bavaria. Hey, Robert, how are you? Uh, Nice to have you. Aubrey from cool, cloudy Cyprus. I think your definition of cool is probably a different one than mine, but nice to have you, Aubrey, in the house once again today. Andrea from Hamburg. Moin, moin, Andrea. How are you? Keith from Scotland. Sunny and windy. Classic Scottish weather. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything else, Keith. Thanks for sharing your location. Nice to have you. Andreas from Mainz near Frankfurt. Hey, Andreas. How's it going? Fabian, rainy Hanover, also in Germany, 6 degrees centigrade in Hanover. Wow. All right, who else do we have? Kevin from North Carolina, beautiful day. Great. Is this I think Raleigh is South Carolina, right? If I'm not mistaken. So North Carolina. Yeah, nice to have you, Kevin. Good to see you. And who else do we have in the room today? So we have Bavaria, we have Cyprus, we have Hamburg, Scotland, we have Mainz, Germany, we have Hanover, North Carolina, and we have Colorado, Fort Collins. John is there. Hey, John. Good to have you warming up here. Great. I'm glad. It's getting a bit better there. And Ralph is there also from the Black Forest, also Germany, 4 degrees. Oh, that sounds also a bit uncomfortable. Maybe rainy, 4 degrees, who knows? Nice to have you nonetheless, Ralph, in the room. All right, so let's get started with today's session. Once again, today we will be looking out for swing trades. Duration typically 1 to 20 weeks. And it's really important because swing trades are not long-term investments. Swing trades need to be managed. It's really important because you need to grab your profits once the trade goes up. You don't want to hold on to these trades forever. They need to be closed fairly soon. When I say fairly, I mean, perhaps within 1 week, perhaps a bit longer, but they need to be managed. They're not investments which you may hold or set and forget. We hold them for forever, basically, or for many years. That's not the case here. Swing trades need to be managed. Having this said, swing trades are also not day trades. So this is not as extreme as a day trade, which you may open or close within the same day. But nonetheless, you have to keep an eye on these trades. That's important. Now, how can we find these trades? Well, we're going to use something which we call the 13 minutes strategy. Weird name, 30 minutes, weird number, kind of arbitrarily picked, but that's not the point here. The idea is that everybody using the right tool, and when I say the right tool, using our Liquidity View dashboard, everyone should be able to find interesting swing trading setups every single day in just a few minutes. This webinar is scheduled for 1 hour. This is the reason for this is because I talk a lot and I answer lots of questions. But if I wouldn't talk, but just do my scanning, in fact, I ran my scans last night after the market closed, this only takes a couple of minutes. This is the beauty for using our scanning tool. It's designed for efficiency. It's designed for speed so that you can find your swing trades in just a couple of minutes. Now, who are we? First of all, we are tradingindicators.com. You know me already. I'm Daniel here on the left-hand side, and together with Homa here in the middle, we have created trading indicators about 10 years ago. About halfway throughout our journey, Niklas has joined us, and together we focus on creating innovative trading indicators. We do this for clients all over the world, in Canada, where we headquartered, in the US, in Europe, in Germany, really all over the world. And most of what we do is based on what's called technical analysis. Now, creating indicators is great, and we excel on this. But you know what? When it comes to stock trading and ETFs, finding the right stock, which currently has the right setup, that's a different story. An indicator by itself will not help you with that because you would still manually have to go through all these different symbols one by one to find the ones which currently have an interesting setup. That sounds tedious. And this is why we thought, maybe we should also write a trade scanner. So we did so. We all software engineers were in a great position to build our own tools, to maintain our own tools, to optimize and improve our own tools. And many trading educators, unfortunately for them, they're not in the same position. They have to outsource this. We're traders who can build their own tools. This brings us in a very unique position. This is also why we frequently submit updates and post updates for our indicators because we have the luxury to do this very quickly because we are in charge of this ourselves. Nonetheless, we have created a trading scanner called Liquidity View, which will allow us to scan through more than 6,000 symbols to find those which currently have an interesting setup. A huge time saver and a tool which we use every single day once the market closes to find interesting ideas for ourselves as well. All right. Now, before we get into all of this, a quick reminder, and it's really important that if you trade stocks or ETFs or futures, or really any asset class, keep in mind that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right, so with this out of the way, a couple of housekeeping items. I'm going to keep this very short. And before I do, a quick question to everyone. Can you hear me? Andre is asking, there's no sound, but I believe, Niklas, I can be heard. Otherwise, probably somebody else would have
we can hear
complained
you
as well. Okay, great. So Andre, please check your sound settings perhaps on your end. All right, great. Thanks for confirming. Okay, a couple of housekeeping items. On Monday, please don't miss out. I will be speaking at the MetaStock Traders Summit this Monday. I think my part is at 11 a.m. I forget what it was, but simply go to tradingindicators.com/metastock. And Niklas, please put this link into the chat box. I will be speaking at the summit and we will be showcasing our liquidity view. I misspoke. Our liquidity IQ and MA rush indicators for MetaStock. It's brand new. They didn't exist for MetaStock before. Now they are available. And now you can combine the scanning capability of MetaStock together with our two flagship indicators, Liquidity IQ and MA Rush. How this works, we're going to showcase for the very first time at this Traders Summit on Monday. All right, moving on. What we will be doing today is to interactively scan for interesting setups using our trade scanner, the Liquidity View dashboard. It would be best if you followed along. Now, if you don't have access to our trade scanner yet, to the Liquidity View yet, you can sign up right now this second at tradingindicators.com/view for a full week of a free trial. You will have to put your payment information, but you will not be charged within that first week, and you can cancel at any time. Of course, if you want to stay along, we have interesting monthly and weekly options for you. So tradingindicators.com/view for this. Also, we have, and I say this every single week because I'm so proud of this bootcamp, we have recorded a 3-hour and 5 minutes bootcamp detailing every single feature of our dashboard. It was a lot of work. I was very exhausted afterwards because it was pretty much nonstop. It is all recorded at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp, a video detailing every single feature of our dashboard. Why do I say this? Because, you may not need all these features. In fact, I'm sure you will not need all the features of the dashboard. But what is important is that you at least know what these features are so that you can pick and choose. Okay, this sounds interesting for my trading approach. Maybe this one not. Maybe this one is interesting. You can pick and choose and then take full advantage of what is important for you in that dashboard. Okay, so check it out at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. Two more things. We do have a Discord channel available at tradingindicators.com/discord. It's completely free. Simply go to this link and register. And lastly, we also do have an ebook called The Power of Three. You can download it at tradingindicators.com/power of three. Both these links are in the chat box as well. Lastly, if you have any feedback regarding our dashboard, whether it's to add new symbols, whether it's about new features or perhaps improve existing features, please don't hold back. Your feedback is what drives the future development of our dashboard. So please don't be shy. The more the merrier. Put your suggestions into the Q&A box or send us an email afterwards. Now, without further ado, let's start with the market overview. That's going to be interesting. All right. So let's see. I'm going to go over to our dashboard. There we go. And we're going to start with the SPY. Well, I wish I could tell you what's going to be happening right now. I have a theory, but of course I could be completely wrong. But what do I see here? Let's just look at the facts. Facts means what has happened before. I'm going to disable this one feature here. What has happened so far? That's a fact because it already happened. It's done. So we have lost support. That's clear. It was at 650. We've lost this level. Prices are now clearly below this level at 634. Our level 4 pullback, in which we were in for the longest time when this correction happened, has now developed into a fully fledged level 5 pullback. All right. The next technical level on this daily chart here is at 613. Now we're kind of in the middle, in between this broken support level and the next technical level here at 613. The last time we've seen such a correction, all levels down, was here in March 2025, about 1 year ago. We had this V-shape formation there. I think it kind of looks similar. Not to the extent yet, for sure, it's much more shallow, but it looks, just from a pattern point of view, it looks a bit similar. Why do I say this? Look at this one. We come down, a little bit of a correction to the upside again, and then another move further down. Similar here, we came down, a bit of a correction, then another move further down. If history would repeat itself, and of course I could be completely wrong, don't hold my word for it, of course, there's no guarantees in trading. If this would repeat itself, I would speculate, and this is complete speculation, we may see a further pullback towards this level here, and then we'll see a V-shaped kind of correction, of course, contingent of what will happen in the Middle East, to the upside again. We are still bullish. This hasn't changed yet. We've been bullish here in the SPY since 2023. All these deeper pullbacks, level 5 pullback here, the pullback level 5 here during the tariff wars, and now also here, these have not changed the trend direction. And as long as this doesn't change, I will keep this mindset that this is right now just a deeper correction. I think it might go as far as this level here at 614. And then prices may go to the upside again. But of course, all contingent of what will happen geopolitically speaking. So that's my theory for the SPY. Would I enter right now at this level? No, I would not. I would wait for signs, early signs that, hey, this might be the bottom, wherever it might be. So right now, I'm just going to wait it out. Okay, so that was the SPY. What about the Qs? Very similar picture here. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said. Of course, the Qs often mirror what's happening in the SPY. We can see this also here. We lost support, now trading lower. If my theory, speculation, is correct, I think we're going to go as far as perhaps 41 and signs of a recovery from this deeper correction. So, whatever. This is my theory here. Would I enter right now? I probably would not enter. Now, this looks to me like a bit of a falling knife. We'll see how we're going to open on Monday, but it's just too bearish right now. There's bearish momentum. Momentum is something where like a train that's speeding up. To slow down this train, it just will take a while. And if that's the case, I think it may go all the way to this level here, and then potentially we'll see some recovery. It's a bit different in the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. It's not as bearish there in the small caps in the US. Here, the level, which we discussed many times before, this cluster of former resistance, this green level here, and this red zone here, it's still holding. Price came down a little bit below this level, then up again. Now back in the soup. Maybe we're going to hold this level. Maybe the Russell is right now the instrument to focus on when it comes to the big indices. Because here we are kind of still in the vicinity. We'll see where we're going to open on Monday, but at least here we still have some technical support. Right now in the Qs, and the SPY. There's no technical support nearby. I believe prices may come further down. Here, at least, we're still in this cluster. So perhaps the Russell would be the instrument to focus on if you were playing the indices to the upside. All right, let's move on. What about oil? Well, I said it was untradeable. To me, it is also untradeable. It's just super volatile. It would be pure speculation. You may say, okay, if I want to speculate, why don't I do this with options? But unfortunately, with this kind of volatility in the market, guess what happened to the options premiums? They are astronomical. They're super expensive. And, you know, you could use options, but you would pay so much that oftentimes it's not worth to use these options for the to minimize your risk. So I personally will stay away from oil. It's just too much volatile. Of course, it looks bullish. Trend is bullish. We broke off this level here, but any news in the Middle East could, drive prices much further down. So getting long USO at this level here, it's very extended too. We're very far away from our averages. Just to me, it's untradeable. It's just it's not the right price level where I would like to engage into USO, at least from the way I trade. Let's look at gold. Let's look at something more interesting, at least from my point of view. I like gold a lot. What has happened here? Well, first off, the situation in gold is quite different. Because here, we are still, as long as trend radar is concerned, we are still just in a level 4 pullback, in a healthy pullback, an area where we like to get into a long trend. Why a long trade? Look at this very stable upwards momentum in gold. And you may even argue from a fundamental point of view, inflation and all these factors which contributed for this long uptrend to continue like this, these haven't really changed much. Yeah. And why would this change in this kind of economy? So I believe, I mean, I'm not speculating fundamentals. This is not my strong suit. I focus on technicals, which has served me very well or served us very well. So I believe gold is interesting. And you may say, hey, Danny, there's no technical level nearby. You would not enter here. Yes, you're right. And from a purist point of view, I probably would not enter here. But if you go back a little bit, what do we see here? It's very faint. We can see this little green line here. This was a resistance level. It was broken subsequently. But since resistance was broken, it has acted as support. It got out of scope here. Nonetheless, this is just an indication that this level was printed too long ago from a relatively small time frame. But nonetheless, this seems to be, playing a role here at this price level. And on top of this, look at the price marker here on the right-hand side, 400, a psychologically important number. So if you want to take a shot, maybe you can see a bit of a pullback on Monday around this level. To me, very interesting for a long trade in gold. Anticipating, okay, this upwards move is going to continue. In fact, I'm going to add gold based on this, again, we speculate a little bit here. Gold, of course, has lost quite a bit here, but there were some down gaps here, which are bullish signs. So I'm going to add gold as one trade idea, GLD, for our next week. So I'm going to actually go ahead real quick during this market review and prepare our watch list for next week. As you know, we're always creating a brand new watch list. So in this case, weekly. In fact, how do I call these? 1 second. Weekly swing trades. Okay. So I'm going to edit. There we go. Oops. Where did we go? Create. Uh-oh. What has happened? 1 second. Did I discover a bug here in our dashboard? I hope I didn't crash it. I think that's why I'm reloading here. Sometimes, just like any software, sometimes just restarting is the way to go. So this was the case here as well. So create. Okay, there we go. All right. Weekly swing trades. Yes. We are software engineers. We write great software, but sometimes small little things still happen. So 2026, 03/28, that's today's date. For our watch list, I'm going to add GLD. I kind of like it here, especially at the 400 level. If you come down a little bit further, as a symbol to pay attention to for next week. All right, so GLD, and we're going to add this one to our list, to our brand new watch list here. And I'm going to do 2 more things. I'm going to add, I'm going to share this watch list with you guys with this beautiful button here. You don't have this button, but I do as an admin. And I'm going to unshare the watch list from February the 21st. All right. Perfect. So now you should be able to see this watch list also in your account. And as I populate or add more symbols to it, you should be able to see these symbols as well. All right. So, Kevin is saying, are you still use? That's a great question. AGI, yeah. Just because we talked about gold, a quick detour, Alamos Gold. This was our, and Nicholas, was it our swing trade in our newsletter? I believe it was on
I'm
Monday.
not sure.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, whatever. Yeah, we called this trade here on Monday. A nice recovery, and no, I closed it. Swing trading, guys. So I used the credit spread here. It was around 50% in the profit already with options trade. That's typically my threshold, especially in volatile market conditions. So I'm out of this trade now. It was a nice long trade here directly at support. We came up, and now I'm out of this trade. But of course, it's contingent of with the recovery of gold prices. So if gold goes up at this one, it's likely to go up here as well. Maybe we're gonna see a bit of a correction to the downside. Maybe another way to enter here. So both is possible. All right. So let me now move on to our market review. Silver. I don't want to detour too much. All right. Silver, on the other hand, is something I am personally, of course, I could be completely wrong, a bit more careful. Two reasons for this. First of all, it's much more volatile than gold. Yeah, huge price swings and at least twice as volatile if you measure out the move from the top here to the bottom of this channel and also to the lower prices here. I think we lost more than 50%. Just quickly see here from up here to down to this point. This is about 44%. So 44% if you measure gold. Just real quick to contrast this, just to show you how much more volatile silver is. Now, if you go from the top here to down here, that's about 21%, less than half of the correction as we had saw in silver. I think because of this, silver is a bit of a loose cannon for me right now. Of course, it's much lower now. And of course, you may say, hey, um, it can come up back to these levels again. And you might be absolutely right. It's just right now in here, I'll be more careful. We lost the support level. You know, we're trading right below the support. So we technically lost this level, which is not a great sign. And potentially there might be another leg further down. So I personally, if maybe this is more my conservative nature, I would focus more on gold than silver. All right, two more things. Actually, just one more thing. Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin. And remember this beautiful drawing, which I draw every week when it comes to Bitcoin. This was, by the way, it was not an indication that we're gonna break this level. What I was trying to say last week when I drew this arrow here is that this level, around 74,000, it's absolutely important. And we must break, or prices must break this level to the upside for the bulls to remain control. Because if not, I believe we're still somewhat with bearish momentum here in Bitcoin. We lost support here around 74,000. Came back below, up again towards this broken support level, now acting as resistance. So big retrace set up for the bearish case, down, up again, down again. And now, let me just quickly see where our prices are right now. 67,000. Yeah. Now it's really important to hold this level here at 62,000 or 60,000. If not, you might see even lower levels around to 45,000 here. So it's crunch time in Bitcoin. Something is going to break. Either this level down here or this one here. I'm hoping it's going to be this one because I have a strategic long-term position in Bitcoin. Talking for myself. But we'll see what's going to happen. I still have this position, so I am personally still hopeful that long-term we're going to see some recovery here. But of course, there might be a deeper pullback in Bitcoin before this happens. All right. So this was our market review. And let me quickly see.
We do have a question here, Daniel. For
Yeah.
David, what do you think the bottoming process will look like in SPY?
I think it's going to be similar to what we saw during the tariff wars. It's going to be very fast. Like here, V-shaped correction. It's of course driven by political news, and I think, I mean, of course, it's pure speculation. I think at the end, when all the dust settles and we're going to be back at some point to where we were, it's going to have a similar formation like this. That's my theory. Where we come down relatively faster, then also a fast recovery, but not as fast as this classic V-shaped correction. That's my theory, but I might be, of course, completely wrong. And if we see this pattern, again, my theory, we might come down to this level here and then recover.
Yeah, I'm looking at volume IQ. I was just interested, but down at that level there.
At this
Then
one,
there's a
615. Yeah.
yeah, then there's a big volume node beneath between 585 and 605. Um, like a big chunk of volume. So maybe we'll drop into there, I'm thinking. But the tier two is all the way up at 685.
Okay, okay. I'm just gonna see what you're saying, Nicholas. I'm gonna add this volume IQ indicator here to our trading view chart. Same levels here at 613. That's the level we might go to. Yeah, so the zone of controls here, not very surprising because we got stuck up here. Sideways move for a long, long time. Lots of trading has happened here. But you can see there's a bigger volume node here. Yeah. I mean, if we also take into account this volume profile, maybe we're even gonna come down a bit further to the 590 level. Uh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course, it can happen. Quick drop into here and then the recovery to the upside. Yeah.
We have a
Eh,
question from oh, sorry, Dan.
yeah. No, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Kevin wants to know, are you still holding AGI?
Oh, we discussed this already. No,
Oh,
yeah, it's done. I'm out of it. But that's because I took options trading there with credit spreads. You know.
thank you. And
Yeah, I'm out of
Ed
this one.
wants, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Ed wants to know, do you show support and resistance levels?
Yeah, these are these lines here. If you don't see them, click the reset button down here. They come back. These are the levels here, support and resistance. And oh, one thing I wanted to say, I'm gonna expand on this a little bit more when we go through our scanning process. To me, the color of these levels is completely irrelevant. I don't care if they are reddish or greenish. Not important for me. What's important for me is from which direction price gets into a level. Okay. If we're coming down from the upside to a level, to me, this is a support level, regardless of the color. If we're coming in from the downside to a level, that would act as resistance. That's what's important to me. The color by itself is not so important. This is, by the way, also the reason why we've called Liquidity IQ, this indicator here. One second. This indicator here. We call this indicator Liquidity IQ, not support and resistance indicator, because the color, whether it is technically called support or resistance, is not so important because it really matters of from where do we come towards the level, from the upside or the downside, because they can change rules all the time. What's important is that these are liquidity levels, and that's also where the name comes from, Liquidity IQ. All right, so let me quickly go back to my slides because now, of course, we want to scan for some interesting setups. And we're going to scan for bullish setups. I still think the market overall has a bullish bias, and I want to take advantage of this. So today, we're going to be looking for long trades. Since we're looking for long trades, I want, as a precondition, my symbol, or every symbol we're considering today, to be already in an uptrend. Why? Because the trend is your friend. The chances of a trend to resume are simply higher than the chance of a trend to reverse. So why not take advantage of this fact? So long-term uptrend is going to be one of our key conditions. Number two, as you may know, in trend trading, there are good moments to enter into a trade, and there are not so good moments. For example, not so good moment is where things are really expensive, because then, the chance of a correction to the downside is quite high. I patiently want to sit on my hands and wait for such a correction. And ideally, a correction which is not too small and not too big. And we call this a healthy pullback. They're not too small, not too big. And we can see this by means of our trend radar indicator down here. As pullbacks, which are either 3 levels down, 1, 2, 3, you can see it here, 3 levels down, or 4 levels down, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are healthy pullbacks in our book. And this is where I want to pay attention. Okay. All right. So, but this is also not enough because one more thing is we want this pullback to coincide with a key technical level, with a liquidity level on your chart. Either a reddish zone here, we call this the bounce setup. We're coming from the top down to a level, or a green level, which used to be resistance, this level. And then we're anticipating we're going to be bouncing off this level towards the upside if the trend, of course, is also bullish. Now, how can we scan for these setups? So for this, back to my dashboard here. There we go. And let's enter these criteria. Okay. So I'm going to scroll. Actually, I'm going to clean up my scanner real quick by hiding the asset class here. And just real quick, guys, I'm going to hide a few things. We'll come back to these a little bit later. All right. So how can we enter these? Well, the first criteria was long-term uptrend. This is given to us by our MA rush indicator. This indicator here, which shows us directly on the price chart whether a stock is bullish or bearish. For example, here for the Airtel Africa PLC, we can see here the last label on the chart is a bullish label. This is what this indicator does for us. It shows us whether a stock currently is bullish or bearish, depending on what the last label on the chart was. So for this one here, a stock which is randomly picked, we can see here in the scanner, it has under MA Rush in this column here, a green arrow facing upwards with a number next to it, 306, meaning this symbol here has been an uptrend for 306 trading days. And if I were to count these candles back from the very last candle on the chart back to this label here, I would get to exactly 306. Now, would I trade this symbol right now? Well, maybe, but probably not, because actually it's an interesting one, which I just randomly found. Long-term uptrend, level 3 pullback. We can also see this here in our scanner here, but there's no technical level nearby. So here I would wait probably for price to come down a bit further, but it's definitely an interesting one. So let's now set up our scan criteria. So first off, bullish for let's just say bullish for at least 100 candles, let's say. So remember, the longer a trend has been going on, the more stable it is in my book. So if a trend just changed from bearish to bullish a couple of candles ago, maybe not so important. So let's say bullish for at least 100 trading days. We want to see a level 3 or level 4 pullback as per our trend radar indicator, just like here with Airtel. You can see Airtel is still in our list here, even though we're down now to only 737 symbols here. Move this away. Airtel is still there because it still fulfills our criteria. But it's going to be gone now as soon as we're going to be adding our third criteria to the mix, which is we want prices to be either near a key support level. It's called long bounce. For example, here, the Bloom Energy Corporation. You can see it here, near support, near this red level here. We came from the top down to this level. That's one thing. Or secondly, we want to be near a former resistance level, also coming down to it. We call this setup the long break retrace setup. For example, here's an example of this. ANAB, Anaptys Bio. Interesting one. See it here. Huh? We broke the level here, came up, retraced down to this level here. Yeah. Within a bullish trend, level 3 pullback as per our trend radar indicator. These are the setups I'll be looking for right now. And if you look now at our scanner here, only 34 setups have survived this very strict scanning process. But that's exactly what we want to do, because we want to narrow down our huge list of symbols down to just a handful or a couple of symbols. All right. That's one more thing I do, which I like to do, is to sort my findings here, my 34 symbols, by trend duration. Why? Because oftentimes, as I mentioned before, the longer a trend has been established, the more stable it is. All right. So what do we see here? The first one in the mix here, the AIB group. Let's check it out. Okay. I don't even know what that stock is. That seems to be an Irish stock of some sort. Okay, level 4 pullback is for trend radar, long-term uptrend, all-time highs here when in February. Now the correction down to this level here at 842, an Irish stock. Yeah, an interesting one. Bullish for 1,274 trading days. I like it. I'm going to add it to our watch list. All right, so I'm going to right-click on the symbol here and add it to our newly created watch list. Next, Starbrand ASA. That, by the way, was a stock we already had last week in our process. Yeah. Actually, we forgot to review last week's picks. We're going to do this at the end of this session. Also, your super long-term uptrend down to support. I still like it for a long trade. Also, I'm going to add this one to our list. And by the way, look what I see here for this Irish stock here, 10.76% dividend yield, at least in the last year. But then if I look here at the, oh boy, at the dividends, they were quite erratic. You can see it here. They're not paid out evenly. So, okay, that's good to know, because you can't really rely on that fact. But last year would have been a great dividend year, at least for this particular stock. All right, moving on. CLS, Celestica. I had credit spreads open with that stock a couple of weeks ago. I closed them once we came up here believe on Monday or whenever that was. I still like it. It's very stable uptrend. You can see it here. Very stable uptrend. I like it for a long trade. I'm going to add this one also to our list. All right. And did I already add store brand to it? Forgot. 'Cause I think it
I'm
was
not
distracted.
certain.
Let me just go here. Just gonna edit again. If I did, I'm gonna get a little. I did. Okay. I'll get a little message here. Okay.
We have a
Perfect.
question here, Daniel, actually from Kevin.
Yes.
Are those the
Mhm.
20, 50, and 200 simple moving averages on the chart?
These ones here. No, these are our proprietary moving averages, which are based on a multi-time frame calculation. There's no real period to it.
And they're based on
Because
volume too.
yeah, but based on volume too. And so it's not straightforward. The reason, well, first of all, you can tell that these are or higher time frame moving averages is because they're kind of zigzaggy, not as smooth as a typical moving average. So if I, let's say, put the SMA 200 on it, simple, come on, where do we have it? Moving, this is this one here, the moving average, the CT 200, just for the fun of it, you'll see that's completely smooth. This one here, this blue line, that's the SMA 200. Very smooth, no like these little edges in there. And that's because it's calculated based on the chart time frame. And it's very smooth because of this. Our MAs here,
Look at how
these
nicely, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just remarking how the top fastest line there, look how nice Price rides it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, come on. Come to it and bounce. Come to it and bounce. Come to it and bounce. Absolutely. We had a very similar picture in gold, by the way, for the longest time. Now it didn't hold up anymore recently. But yeah, and this is very nice here. Now we came down to the second one here, which coincide with this support level. Anyways, so no, these are not SMA 200s. They're based on our, I'd say, secret sauce, so to say. So you can't think of them like this. But of course, we do have a fast, the upper one, a medium, and a slow MA. So which can act as dynamic resistance along the way. Okay, moving on. The first trust. What kind of obscure? But I like all of them. Uh, look at this one. Is this the let me just see what this one is doing. Okay, equity securities. All right, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, but also a nice symbol. Yeah, if you look into these more European symbols, look at this beautiful uptrend now down to key support. I mean, I don't want to focus too much on these foreign symbols. And also, there seems to be some kind of a data problem. I can see this big wicks down here. So I think for this reason, I'm going to skip this one. But yeah, the setup at least is very nice. Long-term uptrend, nice pullback to support here. And one thing that's interesting here, look at the price here, 3,494. That's a stock on the London Stock Exchange. That's why there's a .L here. But you may say, oh my god, this is so expensive. No, not necessarily. Let's have a quick look at the currency of the stock. We have a column here called currency. Oh, not country. Currency here. And you can see British pound with a small p at the end. Guess what that means? That means it's in pence, in pennies. As the 3,494, it's actually only 34.94. So I have to divide this by 100 if you want to see what you would have to pay in British pounds for this particular stock. So pay attention to this. Most of the stocks, I believe, at the London Stock Exchange, maybe Keith, you can correct me for this, are denominated in pennies and not in pounds. There's some exceptions where you see a capital P, but most of them are in pennies. I'm going to skip this one. I think we have enough quotes foreign stocks here. Let's go to the next one here. The VanEck Semiconductor ETF. I like it. I think it's in a very nice, stable uptrend. Semiconductors now hitting support here with a liquidity capture event at the last bar. Just enable this label real quick here so we can see it. Liquidity capture on the last bar. There we go. I think it's an interesting opportunity here to potentially enter into a long trade, anticipating, okay, after this correction down to support, this may continue to the upside. But of course, if the entire market breaks down, who knows what's going to happen? But nonetheless, I still find it's an interesting technical setups. Yeah. All right. So we're going to add this one to our list as well. All right. The Raiffeisenbank International, a German stock, I believe, or Vienna. Uh, let's have a look here. Yeah, also an interesting one. Long-term uptrend. Now at support here. Yeah, could be an interesting one also for a swing trade. Just being a bounce from this level towards the upside. Let me add this one as well. And then we're going to focus on a couple of hand-picked ones afterwards. All right. Perfect. All right. So, by the way, for those of you who primarily are interested in trading US stocks, what you can do is the following. You can filter your currency here by US dollars. So we have filters for this. If you pick US dollars, you see only US stocks are now listed here. So Celestica and Vanek will be our top two here. Let me go to this one here, the Dicom Industries. Yeah, also interesting. Uh-huh. Let me just have a quick look here. Bigger correction to the downside, right to support here. Long-term uptrend since 2023, even before this was an uptrend. Yeah. Also an interesting one to watch for next week. And perhaps one more, which I like, and then we're gonna review real quick, is if you go a bit further down, is this one here, Ondas. So Ondas is in the small speculative nature, but what do I like about this one? Same thing. It was very much hyped because they do drones, and don't want to get into the use case of these drones, but uh, flew up now down to key support. So here we lost how much? About 40%. All right. Still the uptrend has not shattered. It's still just a level 4 pullback, and we're hitting support here. And if we are looking now at options pricing for this particular symbol here, and maybe we're gonna explain it or discuss this case a little bit more in our lunch and learn session on Tuesday. Let's have a quick look. Heat index and the expiration frequency. First off, weekly options are available for Ondas. That's good. It means they're typically quite liquid. And heat index 15.81, meaning for options with 30 days until expiration at the money, you will get 15.81% premium relative to the stock price. That's a lot. That's an expensive option. So here, an option selling strategy, either selling puts directly, naked puts, maybe that's a bit risky, even though the stock is quite cheap. So maybe you want to take that risk because you have to pay that 100 of these ones. It's only 800 bucks if they completely go sideways. Or maybe credit spreads could be an interesting idea. We're going to discuss this case on Tuesday if prices are still in the vicinity here in our lunch and learn session, how this could be priced out. So I'm going to add also, so don't forget about Ondas, this symbol here to our list. All right. So I think a pretty decent list of symbols for today. Of course, you can see there's so many more you could get into just running this simple scan. By the way, another thing you can do is if you want to see a few more symbols, maybe remove the pullback level 3, pullback level 4 filter here, and also take into account stocks which pulled back a bit further. You can see stocks like O'Reilly Automotive. Yeah, came down to support here, even though the support was slightly broken here. Or you can see the iShares Insurance ETF. To me, a very very boring symbols because it just doesn't move much. Even from up here from the sideways channel down to here, it's only maybe 8%, very little, so it moves very little. But maybe a conservative investor could think, okay, this long-term uptrend is now in a sideways consolidation, and we're at the lower end of the sideways channel. Maybe a long trade here is not the worst idea. Oops. Yeah. Aflac, another example here. It's a deeper pullback, all it's red here, but we're at the key support level. Maybe an interesting idea. So this is oftentimes something I do here just to get a few more symbols into my list. And of course, one more here is this one, GE Electric. Also now 5 levels down, but I still like this symbol. I think this one, I keep forgetting what we posted in our newsletter. Maybe it was the gold trade or maybe it was GE Electric. I forget. Beautiful uptrend. Now pulled back to a key support level. It's level 5 down. So it's slightly too big for a healthy pullback. Nonetheless, this could still be an interesting long trade here entering at this level, here, anticipating that this very stable uptrend is going to continue. All right, so let's see what else do we do? Yeah, let's review quickly what we have. All right, so I'm going to go back to our watch list. There we go. And let's see which symbols we picked. So 8 symbols, pretty much the same as we have every single week. Let's see which ones these were. So let me start with the easiest one, gold. I like gold a lot at this level here. Maybe play it with a stock which follows the gold price if you like, but I kind of even like the GLD at this level. It kind of coincides with this former resistance level and the 400 psychological number here, the round number. So for a long trade, not the worst idea, for example. So I'm going to add gold here to our trade notes. All right. And by the way, the last time we had gold in our trade notes was here at 301. Now prices are $400 higher on June. Okay. So adding this one to our list. All right. Vanek Semiconductors is going to be our next one. Just a second here. All right. So, all right. So yeah, I like it too. Stable uptrend at the support level here. Liquidity capture at the last bar. Yeah. Interesting one for next week. So adding this one here as well. All right. And you can see I'm using these trade notes here to remind myself of the setup, which I saw today. Because it's going to be saved. And later on, when we review these stocks, we can say, what was our reasoning back then for entering this? So this is exactly the setup. You could even annotate this with text. You just don't have the time right now. But to me, it's always a good journal to remind myself, hey, what was my thinking? And reviewing this afterwards is a great way to perhaps refine your approach and, say, hey, this actually was not so nice. There was another level perhaps which I missed or something. CLS, Celestica. All right. As earnings coming up, by the way. When are these earnings? On April 23rd. Okay, not too bad. I like it for a long trade at this key support level. I traded when prices were here, came up. Actually, it came down before, but now up again. I think this uptrend is going to continue. Level 4 pullback. Interesting symbol. And here options are also quite expensive. So I actually had a credit spread open. Option price were even more back then. At this point here, worked out beautifully. I closed it with a nice profit. Now back here at support. So perhaps rinse and repeat for this stock. Oops, Celestica. I'm going to add it as well. All right. There we go. Next one, Storebrand. Yes, our good old Norwegian stock. I actually was not able to trade this. I wanted to trade it last week when we found this one last week. Interactive Brokers didn't let me for some reason. I need to check with their customer support. I think I don't have the permission to trade this particular symbol and it needs to be changed. But nonetheless, I love this particular trend here right at support. If you have the chance to trade it, perhaps something to consider. Just make sure that you do have a broker which will exchange currencies at the spot rate because you will need Norwegian kroners to trade this particular, to buy this particular symbol. All right, save and close it. The AIB group, another foreign symbol, non-US symbol, I should say. An Irish symbol here. Yeah, nice setup directly at support. I like all of these. I'm going to add this one here also to my trade notes. Keith says he would never touch British stocks. Why not, Keith? Something going on there? Is that because you're Scottish?
Oh, that's probably why.
Okay, Raiffeisen Bank International. Yeah, here, I think for this one, just because this level has been broken in the past, I'm going to skip this one with my setup here. I think we may see it come down a little bit further. So, I'm going to skip this one for our trade notes. The Daikin Industry, and then we have Ondas here. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The only thing here for Daikin is that we've been near the support level for quite some time. You can see it here for many, at least 8 trading days here, even longer, near this level. I like to see a quick bounce at this level. Actually, I'm going to skip this one too here. For our trade notes, I'm going to focus on the ones with the more high quality setups. Then we have Ondas, the last one here. I'm going to put it in to our trade notes just because I think an option strategy, especially with these high option prices, could be of interest here. And it's going to be a reminder for me for next Tuesday for our lunch and learn session. All right. Perfect. Great. Good. That was our scanning process right now. And before we get to your questions, let me see what we did actually last week. So I'm going to go to our watch list real quick for last week just to have a quick review here. So Clean Harbors, CLH. Yeah, here we didn't get our entry. Stock nicely bounced off this level towards resistance. Didn't get our entry. It would have been worked out even if you would have ended at market open because as soon as we get to resistance here, you want to get out of this trade. Carpenter Corporation. Yeah, that one worked out beautifully. And actually, this is a great use case. Remember when I said swing trades at the very beginning need to be actively managed? This is a perfect example of this. Don't sit and forget those ones. You need to pay attention to what's happening to them. Here we pointed out this trade, a potential long trade. flew up nicely. Where did it go to? All the way to resistance. And this is where you need to get out because you don't want to, give away your profits when you hit resistance. The price may bounce off resistance to the downside. Yeah, worked out nicely here. BPER Bank Gaspar. Also, you look at this beautiful bounce here. So these foreign stocks, they can be traded quite, non-US stocks can be traded quite nicely. Beautiful bounce to the upside. Ethanol. I'm so hopeful for ethanol. We're still there. It's a beautiful stock here for a long trade. In fact, we pointed this one out. I think back here or something where it already hit our first target. Now back here, I still like it. It's just a little bit below the support level, but nonetheless, still the setup is still valid. Alamos Gold jumped up nicely. This was now either on Tuesday we pointed it out or in our newsletter jumped up nicely. Danske, yeah. Oh, Danske came down. Oh no, I didn't pay attention to this. It came down on I wonder if he had earnings or something. Came down a bit, much further down, still in the area here. If you're in this trade, I would possibly still hold on for this one because this uptrend here is a very stable one, and I think things may recover here and close this gap. So we came up, which was encouraging, but now we gapped down a little bit. Nonetheless, still interesting. Storebrand ASA, yeah, that's part of our watch list again. Also came up a little bit, now down. CLS Celestica, we had it before, still interesting after it came up. And Care Trust REIT. Yeah, we came down to our entry zone here. Also, this one jumped up nicely. Perfect. All right. So now let's go on to your setups. Nicholas, do we have any
Sure.
questions or symbol requests?
Yeah, we got a
which you
question
can
here,
pay
so let's
attention to?
handle the question before the symbols. Ed wants to know, do you use the R score for any specific decision making?
Currently, not so often. I use all the other columns here, mainly just to find me some stocks which don't qualify for these criteria here, but which kind of just want to see what's going on. So, for example, what I do is, let's say I want to find out, okay, which stocks in the S&P 500, let's just keep it to relatively low, I said, currently actually really, really bullish despite the big pullback. So, what I can do, for example, I can filter for bullish stocks with an R score, which is very high at the same time. Because remember, the R score is based on our trend radar indicator. It takes into account roughly the last 50 trading days and basically counts up how many red squares do we have, how many green squares do we have, and does some weighting in addition to this. And here you can say, okay, which of these stocks have an R score greater than 300, let's say. Can then even sort them. You can say, hey, the first one here is CVX. Very bullish. Look at this one. Despite the S&P, this one's really racing up. So very extended. Or this one here, TRGP, flying up. So I use it more for this kind of a scanning, just to find stocks which are really outperforming right now. Whether I'm going to trade or not, that's a different story, but just to, get me a feel of what's going on in the market, more for research purposes. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have symbol requests. Let me just check this. Daniel, Stephen, maybe send Daniel an email at info.
I did that. I saw that, Steve. I will get back to your email. Let me I just didn't have time yet. I'm also waiting for Acorn to give me some guidance there, but I will get back to you, Stephen. So thanks for your patience there.
Perfect. Okay, and Keith says he wouldn't touch British stocks because you can't really find out about the insider trades, and he wouldn't trust any official numbers in Britain compared to U.S. stock market.
Yeah. If you use insider trading, so basically, what are the transactions that like people who work or are affiliated with that company, what they do with that stock, whether they buy them or sell them or get rid of them or whatever. If this is part of your decision making, then yeah, maybe that makes sense to stay away from them. I like to keep my life very simple. I just go with what I see on the chart. But of course, everybody has a different approach. Yeah.
And finally, Mala says, what indicators and timeframes can I use for day trading options? Can I use the liquidity dashboard to scan?
Day trading sure you can. I mean, so for day trading options, if you day trade the SPX, I would imagine what I would suggest is to apply our indicators, let's say on the SPX, on a lower time frame. So let's say go here, the 50-minute time frame, or even lower. See what are the key levels, and then trade accordingly. Because you probably do a zero DTE options trading. Use these levels here to guide your options trade in that way. But
Thank you.
but the dashboard itself might be a bit more complicated to do so because it's end of day. You don't get all the intraday information that you may need for this.
Our first symbol request is AGX.
AGX. All right. Argon Inc. Oof. Flew up. Oh, it's like a poster shot of a zone break retrace trade, huh? Look at this one here.
Wow.
Zone break, retrace,
It's like it
retrace
came back
again,
to
and
refuel and then it blew up.
yeah, and flew up. Yeah. If you are in this trade, congratulations. Beautiful implementation of our zone break retrace setup. This one here, by the way. Broke resistance, came up, down to resistance, to retracement, and then flies up. And this one really flew up. Would I enter right now up here? Probably not. A big gap here. There's a chance that this gap might be tested. So be careful of this. But if you are in this trade based on what you found in the dashboard, yeah, congratulations. That's amazing.
The next symbol is CIEN. CN.
CIEN. All right. Okay, bullish for 536. Yeah, also this one, Sienna Corporation. Yeah, it's expensive. Long-term uptrend here. We broke above resistance here, came down one more time, and well, actually two more times, and now we're flying up. For me, too expensive up here to enter. I would wait for some sort of pullback, a level 3 pullback, and then potentially enter. And maybe you can use this first MA rush line here as your dynamic support. You can see it came down here, and then you enter, came up down to the level here, up again, and now maybe wait for it to come down here and then potentially enter.
Thank you. Next symbol, LITE. LITE.
Yes. Light. All right. Bullish for 376 trading. Yeah, they're all the same, huh? They're running
Yeah.
away. Uh, it's not my cup of tea to enter at these levels. But of course, there's different traders out there. There's, my friend Martin Gersch, some of the Germans may know him. Great guy. Do lots of stuff together in terms of trading projects. He believes, hey, a stock which is flying up. They have great momentum. And they're going to continue to have great momentum. Maybe it's even going to be increasing. So, but for me, I personally wait for these pullbacks a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next symbol is HOG. HOG. And at the same time, can the look back period for the R score be extended?
No,
No.
it's predefined. It's what I said around 50. It's part of our secret sauce a little bit. It's just for you to get an intuition of how far it goes back. So it's more from a short-term point of view. All right, alrighty. Oh, by the way, sorry, real quick on this topic, R score. In this case, 275, really bearish momentum here. There is actually, maybe not. I believe he had it. Maybe it got lost in some of the revisions. Then I don't really pay attention to what I see on the chart. It used to be also written down here on this chart here, despite what you see in this column here, that we have the R score. Nicholas, can you take a quick note to get this R score back on our chart? Is it? No, it's not in here. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So HOG bearish for a while. We lost support. Just go back a little bit here. Harley Davidson. Yeah. If anything, I would think about short trades here. This looks like zone break retrace to the short side. We lost support here, came down. Now we're tracing back to the support level, which could be another leg further down. Long for sure not. Maybe think about put options. Let me just quickly see. 5.67 heat index. Yeah, maybe buy some puts. They're not too expensive. Well, not the cheapest, but yeah, anticipate, okay, we're going to see another drop to the downside. All right. What else do we have? RRGB from Kevin. RRGB, there we go. It's a triple bottom. Okay, let's have a look. Red Robin Gourmet Burgers. Oh, is that one of the burger? Let me just see something. I never heard about the symbol. North American Canadian. Oh yeah. I wonder which. I never saw this burger place. I love burger places. I never saw Red Robin Gourmet Burgers anywhere. Of course, in Montreal, it's always a bit different. But even when I travel, is there any other brand that's affiliated with this one, burger-wise? Or chain? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, triple bottom. Yeah, indeed, triple bottom. It would not be a symbol for me to trade. Too bearish, this symbol to begin with. But of course, you may speculate, okay, this bottom here, once again, it's going to hold. We're going to bounce to the upside. Yeah, potentially. It's a very cheap stock, maybe. And if you do, these bounces tend to be quite significant. Yeah. Actually, from a speculation point of view, if you really want to speculate, yeah, we're going to see another bounce, perhaps towards this level here at 7. You can double or perhaps 3 times your investment, maybe. But of course, only with the highest speculation money that you can use, like super risk capital. Nicholas, are you still there? Oh, I think we lost Nicholas. LNTH from Baba. All right, LNTH. The Lantheus Holdings. Yeah, it's also a bit of a messy stock. Yeah, coming off from a resistance here in a bearish trend. Not something for me. It's just too all over the place. Daryl says Red Robin is there is in San Francisco. All right, great. Endless fries of any burger. Oh, that's dangerous. Even though I'm not the biggest fry fan, I typically eat my burger. I had one yesterday at an Irish pub here in Montreal with just salad next to it. That's enough for me. If you also have the fries, you tend to be that full. Anyways, Mala, MU, and Broadcom. All right. Yeah, Micron Technology is a nice stock. Let me just quickly have a look here. MU, where do we have it? Sorted. Okay, I'll just type it in. Micron. There we go. Technology. Yeah, nice stock here. Nice
Daniel, can you
pullback.
hear me?
Yeah, you're
Oh, my
back.
computer
Hi.
crashed. I'm sorry about that. And
No
I've
worries.
lost all the question history now
Okay.
in the
It's
Q&A, just so you know.
we're just talking about where were we? Let me just quickly see, just to bring you up to speed. We just taken Mala, MU and Broadcom AVGO.
Oh, did we
All right.
see, did you see that question from Derek? I remember from discussing scanning for short breaks.
No, not I'm gonna discuss that too. Oh
Sure.
yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, nice pullback here. Level 4 pullback at Micron. The only thing here which I don't like too much, I like this, it's a nice pullback, is there's no technical level nearby. So but of course, if you want to take a shot here after this pullback here, anticipating we're gonna come back up, yeah, why not? It's an interesting stock, so definitely for the bullish direction after this pullback. Broadcom, AVGO. All right. Also a long bounce setup, coming down once again to our entry zone here, which we drew up here. Yeah, I like it. Level 5 pullback now, so a bit deeper. Nonetheless, well, coinciding with support here with a liquidity capture at the last bar. So yeah, I like Broadcom for a long entry as well. Okay, how can we scan for short breaks? Yeah, so okay, a little detour. Of course, we are only or we're focusing mostly on long trades here, but if you're looking for short trades, what you can do is a couple of things. So first off, I would put my ME rush indicator show me only bearish symbols. All right, so maybe this we have 6 out of 9 very bearish symbols in here. And then what you can do here in your Liquidity IQ setup is you can select short break, this one here, and these all come with a number. You can see it here. This number will become important. Let me just pick one here, like this one, randomly, this one, APVO. So here we can see we broke below the support level 14 bars ago, exactly there. That was our short break. And if I enable our breakout label here, you can see the break happened exactly 14 bars ago. Oops. Where did it go? So, maybe another bug. Nicholas, can you also take a quick note of this? Why the label is not shown? It doesn't really matter. It happened
Which label isn't
exactly
shown?
the zone break label when we lost support.
Oh, because
Oh,
it's not the lowest support, so it's not technically a zone break.
oh, maybe that's why.
It, well,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
no, why is but there's a support beneath there? I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, just take a note. Anyways, so we broke support here, now trading below. But what you want to see is when the break actually happens, not 14 bars later. So something like this, like array, the break happened a long time. Oh, here we see it. Long time ago, like here, that's too late. What you want to see are these ones here with as a 1 next to it, or maybe a 2, but it happened recently. So you can add an extra filter to the whole thing. And for example, say current. You can see all these symbols which broke below support uh, yesterday on Friday. So for example, here there's a BAX, where that stock is. Just lost support here on Friday, and maybe you can see some nice follow through afterwards. Or BLNK broke support. You can see this arrow here. MPX broke support. Yeah, these are the ones. This is a nice zone break retrace setup here, by the way. So this is how you can scan for it. All right. So let's continue. We had MU and Broadcom. Let's do a few more. NVIDIA from Daryl. All right. NVIDIA. Yeah, directly in our, we discussed in our entry zone here, now even lower, but still in the vicinity of this level here. So yeah, it's I mean, NVIDIA similar to Amazon. Amazon has a similar setup, also now down to support and trading at support, even a bit below. These are the stocks which I would like to see my portfolio almost regardless. So this to me is like a hybrid between the swing trade and the longer term investment because even if things go low, I probably would hold on to this similar to Nvidia for a while, even if it goes even lower, because this is something I believe in the long run as an investment is going to go up. So yeah, I like Nvidia still at this level, and but of course, from a pure swing trading point of view, it's not good that we lost the support level. Maybe price going to come down to this level here at 153, which once again could be a great long opportunity here to enter into Nvidia. KTOS. All right, KTOS. Kratos Defense and Security. All right. Yeah, very volatile. Big jumps here. All 134 down to support here at 71. Level 5 pullback here. Yeah, well, if you want to take a shot, I wonder what the option price of this one are. 12.74. Options are expensive here too. Yeah, maybe a credit spread, anticipating we're gonna be bouncing off this level towards higher price levels. Yeah. Or maybe if you feel advantageous, maybe even selling naked puts. Yeah. Yum from Barbara. All right. Yum. What do we have here? Yum brands. Ah, Yum. Also interesting. Let me just quickly see what do we see here. All right. So yeah, but this is one of these stocks which are quite all over the place. Bullish trend, yes, but it's like really zigzaggy. So, but yeah, if you want to take a shot at this lower end here, it would be this area. Nice pullback, level 4 pullback to this former resistance level. We're coming from the upside, now acting as support. We may see a bounce of this level towards the upside. And Walmart from Kevin. WMT. What's going on with Walmart? All right. Yeah. Um, came down nicely to our entry level here. So this is our entry zone. We came down to it a bit later than we anticipated, and now we pulled up. I like Walmart. It's yeah, very beautiful, stable uptrend coming down here. But entering right there, maybe I would wait. Perhaps prices are coming down one more time to this level, and then potentially enter to the long direction. Yeah. Yeah, for creators or Broadcom, does it make a difference whether SPY's in correction mode? That's true. So a rising tide will lift all ships, and vice versa. If the tide goes down, it will take everything with it. Um, Niels, you're right. So you definitely need to be vigilant and be aware that hey, if the SPY is tanking further, and we discussed this, there is definitely a possibility of this. We go down to this level here. The stocks many of the stocks that we discussed may see a deep bit of correction. Absolutely. So yeah, be aware of this. But of course, not everything. So even with the SPY tanking, we lost. How much did we lose last week? Just for the fun of it. Last week we came down. Just measure this out real quick from the beginning till the end. We lost about 4%. There are many stocks in the SPY which actually went up. So if we go, for example, here, little fun fact about the dashboard, and add the columns year to date, 52-week high and 52-week low. Let's just see what, and just for the SPY and the S&P 500s, let's just see which stock, just for the fun of it, which stock actually really outperforming right now. And of course, energy stocks, one of them. But let's just have a look. Which are the highest performing stocks? So year to date, SanDisk. Yeah, but even though it's 20% correcting up to the loan, SanDisk is just flying up. Also corrected to the downside a bit last week. Okay, but here we came down. What about LYB? This one. Look at this one. For some reason, this is the weekly chart. Flew up last week. I don't know what the sector of this stock is. Lin Lindell Basel Industries. Have a quick look. Chemical, yeah, probably in basic materials, if I would. Let's see what the sector is. Yeah, basic materials. Interesting. So yeah, not all sectors are affected, of course, by this downturn in the SPY. And just real quick, I don't want to detour too much. If you just look at the sectors, what are the strongest sectors year to date? So it's sorted by year to date here. Energy, of course, or maybe because of oil. Then basic materials, yeah, XLB. Utilities, up 6%. Consumer staples, consumer defensive, up 5%. Industrials, up 2%. All the other sectors are down. The sector that's mostly down is the financials. Yeah. Technology down 10%. But yeah, you're right, Niels, absolutely. Broadcom might be suffering. If technology goes further down, I believe Broadcom will be impacted. So something to pay attention to. All right. So, are there any other symbol requests or questions? I think we lost Nicholas again.
Walmart.
Oh, there we are. Oh, we had Walmart already.
Oh,
yeah.
Then no. Please, can you show how to add the PLTR Palantir? If we can look at that, please.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Mala wants to know, how do you add the heat index on the layout display?
Yeah, I'll show you.
And does it reflect options pricing?
Yes, and Mala, please have a look at our masterclass. And Nicholas, maybe
I sent it
this.
yeah, Mala, I answered your question before. I sent you the direct link, tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. It has all these answers.
It's answered there in detail. But I'm going to show you real quick. So Palantir, yeah, hitting support here. I think it might come down a bit further, down to this level here once again to 127. If it does, this could be a really interesting long opportunity. It's a level where we have the support level here coinciding with this former resistance level around 125. So yeah, to me, an interesting entry point here. But of course, Palantir also a stock which many see in your longer term portfolio. So similar to the Amazon or the no, whatever, similar to Amazon or maybe Broadcom or some symbol to where you perhaps would like to have the symbol in your portfolio regardless. So it's kind of a hybrid between a swing trade and a longer term investment. So even if we lose this level here, maybe just hold on to it. And if you believe that long term it's going to come up, you just wait and until it recovers. Okay, and Mala, real quick for the heat index, you can edit via the column configurator here. Go down to this one, heat index. Once done, it will show up in your scanner here. And what you can then do is, first of all, you can scan for maybe only stocks of weekly or daily up expiration. So it narrows it down a little bit. Then you see this heat index here. And as a rule of thumb, when the heat index is very high, like more than 10, options are expensive. And what it really means, for example, here for this one here, AAOI, is that options for 30 days until expiration at the money, the prices are right now, you would have to pay 14.81% premium of it relative to the stock price. So in this case, stock price is 98. Just to show you real quick how this would work. So we're at 98 roughly times 0.14 for 14% premium or 50, whatever, roughly. You would pay 1372 per stock for options. So for 100 options would be $1,300 premium for this particular stock. So this is how it works. Okay. All right. Perfect. Which of your trading indicators are best for detecting intraday bullish and bearish reversals? Yeah, definitely so all these indicators that we're using in the dashboard, like Liquidity IQ and MA Rush, these are also available for platforms like TradingView. And we day trade all the time using these indicators on the chart. So Liquidity IQ, MA Rush, Volume IQ, and also One IQ, which basically I use for all my alerts. You can see all my alerts that come in intraday. These are all alerts based on our One IQ indicator. And I use these ones to find setups which I like. This is my primary trigger to open up a chart and then see, hey, do I like this as a trade or not?
Daniel,
yeah.
Just sorry to interrupt you, but if you go to SPY on the I put it on the 10-minute chart,
Okay.
with our indicators, it's just a good illustrator for what you're talking about on the 10-minute.
Okay, let's have a look.
With MA Russian liquidity IQ for the bearish reversal that happened recently.
And which on the chart time frame?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Okay. Yeah. So bearish reversal here. We came down to the support level. We broke this level, zone break level, zone break here, and then a nice follow through to the downside once the support was lost, for example. But you can see this all the time. For example, this is a beautiful trade I would take a lot in my trading. Bearish momentum. We came up to resistance up here with a liquidity capture. Oh, beautiful signal to enter short because it goes in line with your momentum to the downside. We're hitting resistance and we have a liquidity capture event. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is how we use these indicators all the time to day intra-trade, to day trade, especially in the futures space, but also with equities. Absolutely.
And notice, Daniel, I just remarking here, see where all the choppy signals, like the bullish, bearish, bullish in the center there? Well, that's happening when price isn't interacting with a level. So it just shows the importance of waiting for price to go up to touch a resistance or touch a support.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we make our best trades and we are at the extremes here at these levels. And then we make a call what we think is going to happen. But trading in the middle, like as we sometimes call a no man's land, this is oftentimes what we avoid because it's choppy and a bit hard. It's more like a speculative. We like to trade when we're at these levels. All right. Great. Perfect. Well, guys, I think this concludes our session. Just one more thing to say. If you would like to try our great dashboard, it's available at tradingindicators.com/view. We offer a full week of a free trial. And of course, if you want to stay on afterwards, we have great monthly and weekly options. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, we do have a spring sale going on right now. You should be able to see this in your email. If not, let me just quickly show you how you can take advantage of our great spring sale. It's www.tradingindicators.com/spring. All right. Celebrating the arrival of spring, even though it's really cold in Montreal today, it doesn't feel spring right at all. Nicholas, please put this link also in the chat for our spring sale. Go there and you get a great 40% discount for most of our indicators and tools. You can see them all listed here for a limited time. So it's still going on. All you need to do is once you pick your indicator, you get to a checkout page and you will simply enter you go to this page and then you click one more time, you'll get to a checkout page and then down here you will enter the discount code SPRING. You click apply and you get the 40% discount for our indicators. So great promotion for a limited time. I think maybe until Sunday, maybe Monday, I forget. But it's going on right now. And if you want to take advantage of this special offer, it's tradingindicators.com/spring for this. Perfect. All right, guys, the link is in the chat, as Nicholas has pointed out. All right, guys, with this, if there was a question which I forgot to answer, you can always reach out to us at tradingindicators.com. All you need to do is to go to contact on our homepage, then on support, put your question into the contact form, and it will go straight to my inbox. With this, guys, I wish you all a great weekend. Recover nicely, take some time off, and then I think it's going to be an interesting week next week on Monday when the markets will reopen. Until then, guys, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Nicholas.